Mr. Chair, this amendment would prevent the bill from taking effect until the Secretary of Energy can certify two things. First, the Department of Energy has sufficient staff in place to support the timely progress of ongoing programs and projects authorized and funded by Congress, in addition to the new responsibilities like the assessments required in this bill. Having the Secretary say in a committee hearing that he has the resources to do this bill, but not to go further to say he has the resources to do all of the responsibilities Congress has placed on the Department of Energy is nonsensical. And when Secretary Wright was here a couple of weeks ago, a number of Democrats on this committee asked about the Department of Energy's staffing issues. Secretary Wright did not give us a straightforward answer or visibility into those numbers or how the department intends to continue with ongoing and future projects, given the cuts that they have faced. He also hasn't responded to inquiries from this committee about department staffing issues. And as I mentioned during that budget hearing, my own office has experienced this lack of response and visibility from the department. However, Secretary Wright did stress the importance of the Department of Energy, its national labs, and various programs like the Loans Program Office. So everyone should recognize the value of the Department of Energy's work, but no one seems willing to answer important questions about who's left to complete the work that Congress has already put on them, in addition to these new bills that we seek to pass today. As this committee considers the Electric Supply Chain Act, we have to look at the bigger picture and the reality of the reckless workforce reductions and funding cuts that have already happened or are in process right now. DOE has already forced out over 3,500 key Department of Energy staff. Key offices responsible for implementing this bill have lost a significant portion of their staff. And Secretary Wright hasn't given us any assurances that there won't be further mass layoffs. In our districts, businesses and community partners are already waiting to hear from the department about critical contracts and access to funding. Congressional offices inquiring on their behalf still haven't received answers. My office has heard that in some cases, the department can't even determine who is responsible for certain projects because too many qualified staff have been fired or pushed out. And with the department already struggling to meet its current workload, how can we pretend it's business as usual and justify adding additional work? These harmful workforce cuts that have occurred must end, and before we add new responsibilities, Congress must have a clear, updated information on DOE staffing levels, office capabilities, and operating plans. You know, one of the things I miss about being a state legislator is whenever we passed a bill that would add new responsibilities on a state agency, we had to have a fiscal impact statement that included how many full-time equivalent employees would be needed to carry out that work. It wasn't just a financial requirement because states can't print money and have to have a balanced budget, but it gave us the ability to see, do our agencies have the workload needed to do their lawfully mandated work? That is simply what we are asking for now. It's common sense, and it helps us take a holistic view at, does the department have the resources it needs to do its current job in addition to the ones this bill would add on it? And with that, I yield back.